Hello and welcome. You're watching the NDTV channel on YouTube. It's youtube.com/NDTV and I'm here to give you the news of the hour. And in case you're watching this, then you would also know that the only news really today at the moment, because news keeps changing, is the election in Maharashtra and in Haryana. Now, this is something which is quite a surprise, not necessarily because the results may necessarily turn out to be anything but a BJP victory. But the fact is that it's running close, particularly in Haryana, where the prospect or the possibility of some sort of a surprise cannot be ruled out as yet. And I think that's the key point that we are looking at today, because if you look at the context of where we came into result day, which is today, then there were exit polls, and the large majority of exit polls categorically said that there was no question about it. The BJP was coming back into power in both Maharashtra and in Haryana. But if you look at what's actually taken place in Haryana, there are some interesting details which are now emerging. Firstly, a complete revival of the Congress Party, a party where, remember, Sonia Gandhi never campaigned for at all in the state. Yes, Rahul Gandhi did, but the Prime Minister also campaigned over here quite extensively. And in terms of a sweep for the BJP, that's not happened at all. The numbers indicate that the BJP thus far, and it's a little after 12 it's nearly 1 p.m. in the afternoon, the numbers indicate that the BJP hasn't been able to get to that magic mark of 46. And the numbers of the BJP, these are leads actually at this juncture, they turn into results almost always, they've kept going up and down. That's because it's been a close fight in certain areas. So at stages earlier on in the day, the BJP's numbers crept up to 43, crept up to 44, but they're down as I speak right now to about 40. But that's one part of the story. At the moment, the BJP down 7, but the Congress very significantly up 16. Who would have thought that the Congress would be up 16? And so one way or the other, irrespective of whether or not the BJP manages to come out tops in Haryana, and let's be realistic, the chances are that they may well do that. The story really, and now the Congress up at 31, the story really is the revival of the Congress Party in the state. Now, it is without a doubt a huge win in a sense, even if they don't ultimately win the elections itself in terms of the Congress Party for the Hudas and how their leadership has really revived the party. But over here, it's the JJP, the Jat party. It's the Jannayak Janata Party. Dushyant Chautala is the chief of that. They'd come out of the INLD. They'd broken off from the INLD. The big question is this: will Dushyant Chautala actually emerge as the kingmaker over here? And the reason we say so is because they have won or have leads of 10. So if you add up the Congress 31 and the 10 JJP, then at this stage you're looking at 41 versus the BJP's 40s. These numbers will of course keep changing. Now, this isn't to say that there is some sort of tie-up which exists at the moment between the JJP and the Congress, and there are lots of people who are saying that it's the BJP which would also perhaps speak to the JJP. So, and to suggest that Amit Shah of the BJP would not be able to get the support of the handful of leaders that they actually need to cross that magic mark in Haryana is perhaps wishing too much. But at this juncture, the fact is that there will need to be talks, because if this pattern continues, it's clear that nobody will have crossed the majority mark. So it's going to be a hung assembly, and they're going to have to be supporters coming in for the major formations. So that's as far as Haryana is concerned. But let's turn our attention to Maharashtra. Now, Maharashtra at this stage, I think it's more than safe to say that it's going to be the Shiv Sena and the BJP which are going to come to power. 161 is where they presently stand. That's considerably higher than the magic mark which they required, the majority number in Maharashtra at 145. So the Sena and the BJP's alliance at 161. But here's where it gets interesting. At the moment, with 161, assuming that these leads translate into results, they are down 24, whereas the Congress and the NCP, yes, they did fight separately last time around, but in the context of this election, this alliance, 98, that's up 13. But even in this, it's interesting because the junior member of the alliance, the NCP, led by Sharad Pawar, is actually considerably ahead of the Congress. 55 for the NCP, 40 for the Congress. So the NCP, on the back of Sharad Pawar's strong leadership, it needs to be said, at a stage when the Congress's leadership across the country, not just in Maharashtra, has been in disarray. It really needs to be said that that is quite fabulous the way things stand. But Maharashtra, the BJP would argue that, look, perhaps we need to look and introspect at what really took place, whether our numbers were good enough. But the fact is that they're going to, it appears, quite easily form the government. So then what are some of the other key points that we need to look at? Firstly, as I was mentioning earlier on, the junior partner in the Congress alliance, but let's also look at the junior partner in the BJP alliance. That's the Shiv Sena. The Shiv Sena has improved its tally, and they would perhaps be wanting to get into a situation where they can talk tough, or they can actually suggest that, look, we want the chief minister's post. We certainly want the chief minister's post, because if you look at us, we are at 61. We've improved our performance considerably, and the BJP certainly requires us as well. So that's one big thing. The junior member of both the alliances in Maharashtra in a position where they can actually demand a lot more than they wanted. And as far as Haryana is concerned, if we are to return to the Haryana situation, then, you know, it's really about the JJP and where they go from now. A couple of interesting points I think we need to reflect on at this juncture. Exit polls. Were people lying when they actually came out? Why exactly did people suggest that it's going to be a complete whitewash as far as these elections were concerned? It was going to be a saffron wash rather, the BJP winning in both comfortably in both Maharashtra and in Haryana. Why did they not answer those questions seriously? So therefore, more questions on exit polls. The other big point over here, as I mentioned, in the context of Haryana, Dushyant Chautala of the JJP, the Congress would perhaps like to believe that he is the kingmaker. Is that the case so far or not? But I think in conclusion, the one point that we can talk about is this. For the BJP, it is certainly a wake-up call. Remember, the BJP just a few months back decisively won the general elections in this country. In Maharashtra, there were a lot of rallies that the top leadership of the BJP did. Modi campaigned, had 16 rallies in Maharashtra. Amit Shah had 25 rallies. Compare that with, say, Rahul Gandhi, who had just 7 rallies in Maharashtra. So there was a huge focus by the BJP in Maharashtra, and yes, they would argue that, look, one second, what exactly are you talking about? We have done well in the sense that we are going to come out tops and win these elections. That might be the case, but in fact, the BJP and the Shiv Sena are down 27 from last time around. Yes, they were not together last time, but in terms of their individual seats, it's down 27 from last time. So perhaps that performance is not good enough, whereas the Congress and the NCP up 15 from last time. Yes, they did not compete together last time around. But up 15, significant over there. And therefore, so in both Haryana and Maharashtra, which I'm talking about, the BJP will certainly need to look at the issues. And again, in terms of the issues themselves, there was a sense that the BJP was really looking at national issues as far as these elections were concerned. That's certainly the peg on which Narendra Modi or Amit Shah campaigned. So the BJP was looking at Kashmir. They were looking at the National Register for Citizens. They were looking even in the context of Balakot, whereas the opposition's themes were unemployment, the farm crisis, farmer suicides, economic slowdown. So to those who believe that this theme was lackluster, one would need to perhaps correct oneself. It was these local themes that did make an impact. Perhaps not to the extent that they wanted in terms of the overall result in Maharashtra, but certainly these issues which the Congress and the NCP raised would certainly have had an impact. But I think as far as the NCP is concerned in Maharashtra, they would be upset in a sense that, look, the Congress never really came to the party. The big brother should have done more. They never did. But at the moment, if Maharashtra is still clear, Haryana isn't. It's 40 to 31, the BJP down 7, the Congress up 16. If you add up the Congress and the JJP, remember they don't have a formal agreement with them amongst each other, then it poses a challenge for the BJP. Is that to suggest the BJP won't finally find these numbers? Not at all. But it's certainly an election which we need to wait and watch to see what the results are. It is absolutely fascinating.